Welcome back, Riders. I have a great show for you today. We're going to be covering a few of the videos I've put together for this week, and we're going to be talking about the origins of evil and the people running the show or running the world into oblivion. We will discuss where they originated from. So to get going, we're going to hop right into it. We are going away for the night, so I don't have a whole bunch of time. And this whole weekend has seemed to be one disaster after another. I had on Friday all kinds of stuff happen with my mixer. Took forever to get that figured out. And then my TV blew up, so there's a few $100s that I didn't budget for. But we got through it, and I'm really looking forward to this night away with the family. Quick announcement. Next weekend, I believe on Saturday, I will have Pastor Eli James with me, and we're going to be discussing Galatians and specifically Galatians 3:28, where I feel a lot of Christians and the Judeo nonsense that's taught today, they really mistranslate what is being said in that passage. So that's what we will cover. But to get going, I got a few cool videos I want to show you regarding our Earth, and then we will jump into some race videos, just because it's becoming very very clear that we need to be separated from these people, and it's time for our people to take our countries back. There's no such thing as magic soil. People do not show up here and magically become prototype Americans. Majority of them hate us, hate this country. They're just here to suck us dry, and and they feel entitled to do so. So it's time that we shed this white guilt and do something about it before our and not leave it for our children, is where I'm getting at. Too many of our men just want to bury their head in the sand. The older generations will say things like, well, I'll be dead, which drives me crazy. I don't understand how you could be so selfish. But anyways, we will get through it because we have Jesus and our Father on our side. So, all right, let's jump into the first video here.
This guy puts a bell in a vacuum chamber and then pounds this bell as hard as he possibly can. And you cannot hear any sound whatsoever. But take a look at what happens when he adds air back into the chamber.
And as we let the air in, now I think you can hear the bell quite clearly. And that's a very nice experiment to demonstrate how air is needed for the transmission of sound.
Air is needed for the transmission of sound. So with this being said, why don't we take a look at this spacewalk where we can hear sound in the vacuum of outer space, which makes literally no sense at all. What medium is this traveling through in the void of outer space? That doesn't make any sense at all. It literally sounds like they're underwater. They're probably just filming underwater, and they have a green screen Earth.
And NASA has one of the largest in-ground pools in the world, and they have a replica of the space station in that pool. That is what they're doing. It's movie magic is all it is. And just real quick, I show people these videos to try to open their eyes. It's not, I don't want you just watching a 2-minute video and it trying to convince you. It's to get you to think about things a little bit different, then go do your own research. Again, our Father has told us that we are to study to show ourselves approved, and we should try to learn the creation that we live in. But focus on Him and His word first.
And they're just LARPing being in space. Because you need a physical medium for the sound wave to pass through. Because it passes through the physical particles and causes a vibration. That's how sound even gets to you. And that's why sound can travel faster in water, because it has a denser medium to pass through. Sound travels even faster going through metal. But I made this video for entertainment purposes only. Of course, sound can travel in a vacuum.
Okay. See, the powers that be, they just hope you don't think about these things. That's it. They just want you. That's why all this stuff is, pounded in your head as a child. So it becomes second nature and you don't think about it. It's the same thing that got me is that I trusted the teachers. I trusted the authority figures. And we are programmed and trained to do that. That's why when you see doctors on TV, they're always wearing like a lab coat or a stupid stethoscope around their neck. It's to reinforce that programming. Like, oh, it's a doctor. Oh, he knows. He knows. And it takes, 30 minutes to read about all the horrific things doctors have done over the years and what was considered medicine 100 years ago, that they would be pointing at everybody that didn't agree with it, calling them science deniers. Same stuff that's going on now. And anymore with the medical side or industry, it's just we're being deceived by witchcraft. And in the Bible, I think it's Revelation 18:23. That word that is translated witchcraft in the New American Standard Bible is the Greek word pharmakia. And that is what's happening. There are no cures. They give you Band-Aids to mask the symptoms and then prescribe more medication to mask the side effects from that. It's all to keep you sick and dependent on their system. The same with, these savage men that are all jacked up on testosterone. They do things through diet and the poison that they're spraying to destroy your testosterone count. And then they get you to take testosterone replacement that you'll have to be on the rest of your life because your body will no longer be able to function and produce testosterone naturally. And guess what? You're dependent on them. So when the supply chain, when there's supply chain issues, we're going to end up with a lot of our men that are just emotional women, basically, at that point, because they can't get their testosterone and their body's going to be freaking out. So watch what you're doing. Testosterone can be fixed with a lot of natural remedies, diet, exercise. All right. Let's check out this one. NASA fails. You can spend all afternoon watching them. They never get old. Most people don't look at them. And when they do, they shrug their shoulders and just move on. I don't understand why you're not more focused on a company that is stealing billions of dollars from our country each year to feed us nonsense.
In space. So a deck of cards makes some very interesting games and demonstrations that you can do in space. Some of you may be familiar with the old experiment about the hammer and the feather. Well, in this case, our feather will be played here by this four of spades. And you may expect everything up here in microgravity to float, because most everything does float.
No, 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 no. Oh, you got me so close. You're lost in
look on his face is priceless. All right. Let's check out this video about the Concorde.
The Concorde could fly from Los Angeles to London faster than the speed of sound. It could fly from New York City to London in under 3 hours. It was claimed that they had, you know, where do you put that amount of jet fuel on that, guys? I believe that they took the Concorde off the market because it was so obvious. Look at those wings. Look at the body on it. Where does the gasoline go?
Gas turbine is an internal combustion engine that uses air as the working fluid. The engine extracts chemical energy from the fuel and converts its mechanical energy using the gaseous energy. So the chemical energy is the gaseous energy or the working fluid, which is the air. Down here, a large mass of air must be supplied to the turbine in order to produce the necessary power. The mass of air is supplied by the compressor, which draws the air into the engine and squeezes it to provide high pressure air to the turbine. Now, I'm just going to read this next bit because this is the crux of it to me. Right, if the compressor and turbine were 100% efficient, the compressor would supply the air needed by the turbine. At the same time, the turbine would supply the necessary power to drive the compressor. In this case, a perpetual motion would exist. That's where it should end, because they have invented a perpetual motion free energy generator. And I just want to end it there, because then the rest of the book and the rest of I've got another book as well, it's a similar sort of price, showing you, I mean, they're absolutely fabulous, amazing pieces of engineering, but unfortunately you get people like that don't want you to know because they're very highly paid, and it was an elitist thing to become a pilot. And there was jokes, Jeff in the RAF and Tally-Ho boys and all that in the day, because the elite, I mean, they were showing you these ridiculous things, but it's the engine itself is the marvel, and the weight of these things, the whole thing, it's a lie. The whole industry are lying to you because they've invented a free energy generator and hidden it in plain sight.
It's weird. Like, where do they put all the fuel? There's a lot of technology and things that they do not give us the proper explanation for. Same with nuclear power plants. It's just steam. Nazis were, the Germans, I should say, were the ones that actually created those, along with so many other inventions today that we use. All right. Let's we'll show some stuff on the race issue, and then we're going to start right into kind of laying out where evil originates, and give me 1 second here. Okay, sorry about that. All right. We'll check out this one first.
Calling abortion healthcare is like calling rape lovemaking or like calling slavery job creation. Bastard. Watch what a seared conscience looks like, and then I want to show you.
Oh, you absolute horrible bastard! You horrible
what is
bastard!
Happening in Europe.
A fucking man walking on holiday with his daughter on.
Are we going to wake up? Because Europe's just a few years ahead of us. This is organized destruction of our white race and our white countries. We need to wake up.
The shoulders and a migrant. Boom! Watch the video. Fucking hell! How are you left-wing brain-dead bastards okay with that behaviour? Oh yeah, but you've got to give him nothing! You fucking horrible, thick, mentally ill, deranged bastards. I have had enough now. I've had a fucking enough of all this bullshit. And I'm not inciting anything, the fucking 5-0 that keeps knocking on my door, and the fucking corrupt, paedophile-run government. I'm not inciting riots, raising hatred, nothing.
It's getting very tired of dealing with, especially the left, our own women, our own race fighting against us to support people that will destroy this country along with them. The programming and brainwashing is incredible. And there's also a spiritual component to this, because these people are in rebellion from God. So therefore, their eyes are going to remain closed. I'd be really worried if you're not hearing Jesus's words, because it means you're not supposed to.
If there's a group of blacks, never elect. Why the fuck is that racist? I mean, that what I just said is it's factually supported. It is statistically supported. I mean, they're always saying like, did you know that eating bacon can make you fucking get cancer or whatever? What do people stop doing? They stop eating bacon, right? Oh, did you know that eating eggs raises your cholesterol? What do people stop doing? Consuming eggs. Oh, I hear Iraq and Iran are war zones. Do you know what people do? They don't fly there on vacation. People have proven they are able to ascertain, to deduce risks. I know they can. So why is it when we have easily accessible statistics, analytics, we have crime stats that prove the disproportional representation of blacks against whites, and you can see this and think, well, I'm gonna risk dying so that I don't appear racist. To say, I don't want to be on a bus full of blacks, I don't want to sit next to a black person on a train, I don't want to live in a neighborhood full of blacks. This is not racist. This is, I don't want to eat red meat because I hear it gives you cancer. That's what it is.
It's a sign of intelligence. It's pattern recognition. There's no benefit to participate in any of those activities. It only provides risk. And yet, white people comply and do it because they're so scared of being called a name. Grow up. Remember the old saying from when we were kids? Sticks and stones may break your bones, but names will never hurt me.
I've got you. I'm not going to give a predictable response by pointing out genetic clustering or crime statistics or anthropology or black fatigue even, which most of us know about or are at least grappling with by now. I'd like to start by pointing out that the term racist is just an anti-white slur. What you may call racist is almost always just pattern recognition, or in its most...
And the original definition for racist was just someone who loved their race. There's nothing wrong with that. And Jesus commands that we love our own, our neighbor. That wasn't the guy you're living next to right now. That was a racial term. That was your racial brethren, your genetic people. That wasn't anybody that happened to move in next to you. This is where Christianity gets things wrong, because they try to make everything universal, that it's for everybody. It was written for everybody. It's incorrect. Everyone can use it. There's salvation for people who believe in Jesus, but redemption are for his lost sheep. The book was written by Israelites, white Israelites. Written to white Israelites of the dispersion. There is no term Gentile. The word is ethnos or goy, and that means nations of the same race. Gentile needs to be, when you see it in your New Testament Bible, it needs to be scratched out and put nations. And you have to do the cross references and get the proper context of who is being spoken about in that. But the Jews inserted the Gentile. The word gentilis, the Latin word, means of the same race. The Jews are responsible for this deception. The Jews have done it with their Masoretic texts. And us stupid goy are at fault also for believing their nonsense, for not studying, for allowing other people to tell you about God instead of doing your own research and finding him yourself. And we've played on here, maybe on my other channels, the BitChute and Rumble channels, of the Pope saying that it is dangerous to have a personal relationship with God. That was Pope Francis. The Catholic Church is fully run, controlled by these Edomite Canaanites from start to finish. Just like with the Republicans and Democrats, you might get some of the things that you want or hear some good things. It's part of the con. It's part of how they keep you controlled. It's part of how they capture and keep your mind. And that's all the Catholic Church did. The Catholic Church destroyed the real Christian church, destroyed the Church of Jesus. And at this point, when you look at the Protestant Reformation, yes, there were some incredible things that came out of it, but I almost think it was a Hegelian dialectic. That they knew they were about to lose control of the minds of people through Scripture because of the printing press and more people translating the Bible into their own language. So they got ahead of it with the Protestant Reformation to, again, capture those Christians that saw through the lies of Rome. And then how did Rome respond? They responded with capturing the minds of, I guess, the educated with their learning against learning doctrine to disprove the Bible through education to capture the minds of the people that they could trick. It's all lies.
Innocent form, the simple preference of mating with people who look like you and share your cultural and ancestral history. Again, only whites are condemned for this. The word racist can technically be used to describe anyone, but effectively can only be utilized against white people. What is a so-called racist actually doing when he's being racist? Usually, it's making observations, and this is often framed as an irrational hatred, seeing that someone has more melanin than you and arbitrarily assigning a moral quality to that physical feature. This is a false premise, and it's important to reject this at its root. Race isn't really your skin color. It's a foundational component of your identity. It's an experience. Your identity is how you understand yourself and your relationship to the world around you, your beliefs, qualities, and expressions. These things directly inform what we're actually observing, which is cultural attitudes. According to Pew Research, 77% of blacks in America believe in some form of racial reparations. So in other words, the vast supermajority of black people believe that they are entitled to your money because of slavery that they didn't experience. On the other hand, only 18% of Americans, meaning white people, believe in reparations. These are two very contrary cultural attitudes that are directly informed by self-identified racial category. Why is this a problem? If there exists two groups with equal rights that possess societal grievances that conflict, one is going to have to trump the other. This necessarily means that one group's right will have to be ignored or even violated in favor of the others. So what's the takeaway? The term racist is just a fake linguistic spell invented by and propagated from a set of subversive actors to siphon resources from white people in favor of foreign groups that hate you. I'm glad that you have a black wife that you're super happy with, but this specific individual anecdotal experience does not represent the vast majority of interracial relations in the United States, and it certainly gives you no right to morally grandstand to people who simply use their eyes and ears to observe the brutal facts of this world that we live in. So to answer your question, I am a racist because you have been brainwashed into thinking that as a white man, my acknowledgement of reality should be labeled that way.
Very good video. Those are good people to follow on YouTube. Frojax. And let's look at some of this brainwashing. Propaganda. So all the people participating in this race mixing, you just fell right into their plan. They want you to destroy your genetics. They want you to become stupid because you're easier to control. Lesser races are easier to control. In the world's, in the scripture, it says, when he's talking to Abraham, said the whole world will be blessed by Abraham and his descendants. And that's the only race you can attribute that to is the white race. With our inventions, our medicine, sanitation. Because of the help of our people in our countries, we are dealing with the amount of people in Asia, in Africa. And now these people think they're entitled to it all. And through, social media and this TikTok black conspiracy garbage, you have them, and it's truly sad, thinking that they've invented the world. When they've had really no written language and didn't even invent the wheel, but they've been thrown into modern society. And we wonder why there's issues. The same problems follow these people no matter what country they are in. It's not an opportunity issue. It's an intelligence and genetic issue. And ignoring that there's differences between the race, that race goes to the bones. We are jeopardizing our children's future, the safety of our children, and our countries. We are capable of so much more, but all our money and resources goes to all these third world countries and all these lazies that want to sit here, act entitled, and destroy our country while sucking our money and resources. Our cities are crumbling. Cities are hellscapes full of nothing but crime, drugs. Our founding fathers would be so disappointed and just irate with us if they could see what was happening. But this is where we're at. And here, let me give you a quick prophecy. Let me pull up the screen share here. Lamentations 5:2. Our inheritance has been turned over to strangers, our houses to aliens. We have become orphans without a father. Our mothers are like widows. We have to pay for our drinking water. Our wood comes to us at a price. Our pursuers are at our necks. We are worn out. There is no rest for us. We have submitted to Egypt and Assyria to get enough bread. Our fathers sinned and are no more. It is we who have borne their iniquities. Slaves rule over us. There's no one to deliver us from their hand. And you have Deuteronomy too about the curses that would befall us. Strangers will rise high. And that's exactly what's going on right now. And it's all from God's chosen.
Aber das Volk kann ihnen ja nicht nachfolgen. Das Volk ist ja gekettet an seinen Boden, ist ja gekettet an seine Heimat, ist ja gebunden an die Lebensmöglichkeiten seines Staates.
Remember the people from the Bible who sacrificed their children? Who were they again? Yep, the Edomite Canaanites. And why did our Father want us to remain separate? Because we take on the attributes of the people we're amongst. And these people know that very well. That's why there's such a rise in nigger culture. Even amongst whites. There's nothing more sick and pathetic than somebody, a wigger. Okay. Now let's check out the abortion type. And I'm sorry I'm speaking like this, but it's just, we need to have strong voices that push back against this. We can't have these castrated Christian voices that all they do is promote, turn the other cheek. We have to love everyone. Absolutely not. We're supposed to sell our stuff and grab a sword. Jesus wasn't loving everybody when he was whipping and flipping over tables in the temple, was he? And we have to act that way with Christianity. We have to get those wolves in sheep's clothing out of it and take back what is ours, what is our Father's, what Jesus, the teachings and the things that Jesus gave us. We need to take those back. Not allow these vampires to run the show.
Calling abortion healthcare is like calling rape lovemaking or like calling slavery job creation. Watch what a seared conscience looks like, and then I want to show you how Satan does this.
Watch her face in this and listen to the words that he is saying. This is how sick and disgusting our country has become. And he'll get into it. What the devil does is he changes the definitions or changes the words of the act. Just like with the brain chip stuff, how it's all being geared towards, oh, it's people with paralysis. It will help dementia. Are you against that? You going to stop somebody from being able to walk again? Being able to use their brain again? What are you, evil?
Real quick.
You're an advocate for abortion policy. What's your favorite type of abortion?
I am an advocate for patients having access to the full realm of reproductive health care.
Pause. Now, real quick, I want to show you a few things. Did you notice she's like, I don't call it abortion, I call it reproductive health care. Here's how Satan creates a seared conscience in somebody. So the Bible says Satan's the father of lies. One of the ways he lies is he packages evil things as good and packages good things as evil. You're going to see this constantly. Whoever controls the terms wins the debate. Hey, I don't want to call it abortion. I definitely don't want to call it murder. Let's package something evil in a good term. We're going to call it reproductive health care.
Do you have a preferred method of abortion that you like?
I do not.
Brace yourself.
I mean, read through a couple different methods. First,
just like the civil rights, you know, how they package that. It's anti-white discrimination, but we'll call it civil rights.
Type is called a suction abortion. The cervix is dilated and a strong suction, 29 times the power of a household vacuum cleaner, tears the baby's body apart and sucks it through the hose into a container. Do you prefer that method?
Watch her face.
I stand by my former testimony.
Keep watching her face.
Sounds kind of gross.
You can't look at him.
Sounds pretty gruesome. Do you agree?
This is going to be hard to listen to. Here's what he's doing that's brilliant. He's tearing the mask off what the father of lies has covered an evil thing in a good term and forcing you to deal with the moral reality of what's actually happening.
One is called dilation and curettage. After dilation of the cervix, a sharp looped knife is inserted into the uterus. The baby's body is cut into pieces and extracted, often by suction. Do you prefer that method?
What I believe we are here to talk about today is the FACE Act.
That's a seared conscience. Keep watching.
I am a access to reproductive health care advocate.
Whoever controls the terms wins the debate.
You don't want to talk about abortion itself. Why is that?
I would prefer to talk about the reason that the committee called the hearing.
Is it because
she's doing everything in her power to make sure the reality of what's happening is not stated? Why? Because that's what the father of lies does. Let me hide the evil and package it with a sanitized good term. Reproductive health care. Keep going.
dilation and evacuation? Forceps are inserted into the uterus, grabbing and twisting the baby's body to dismember him or her. If the head is too large, it must be crushed in order to remove it. You prefer that method?
I would prefer to talk about the reason the hearing was called and the basis of my expert testimony.
Keep watching her face.
It's uncomfortable to hear this, isn't it? How about this one? It's when a 20% salt solution is injected through the mother's abdomen into the baby's amniotic fluid. The baby's skin is burned off. Baby ingests the solution and dies of salt poisoning, dehydration, and hemorrhaging of the brain. Do you prefer that method?
I stand by my prior testimony.
I wouldn't want to talk about this either if I were you, because it is barbaric and evil.
That is a seared conscience, and I will just say one thing. Proverbs 8:36. All who hate me love death.
100%. It's disgusting. And anybody supporting it is evil. Plain and simple. It's a great regret of mine that I ever supported this. Back when I was a God-hating liberal, where I viewed it as a clump of cells and could be further from a truth. That flash of light when a egg is inseminated, that's God's sending a soul into that baby right then. And we treat it like a shit. We need to be more vocal about that. Remember those different procedures. And next time you hear somebody bring up abortion, share that with them. Because I don't think a lot of people even know how it's done. Okay, this to kind of counteract that one, I want to share this little story here that was a very, very, it just shows you the power of God. Let's give it a listen.
This video's got 2.2 million views on TikTok. Most unhinged thing God has ever done for me. Let's get into it.
I just heard someone say, tell the most unhinged thing that God has ever done for you, so this is mine. I was in the process of getting married. My husband and I were building a house because he said he would not marry me until he had a place for me to live.
Good man.
And we were paying it all out of pocket. Our house and land is paid for. We paid for it cash. Every time we got a paycheck, we used a little bit. So it was about a month or two before the wedding, and I needed about $2,675 in order to pay off the rest of the wedding. So I went and sang at a friend's church, and they asked me to come back and lead worship the next week. That next week, whenever I came back to lead worship, service was over and everything, and I was literally about to leave. And this man and his wife came up to me, and they handed me an envelope. And I was like, what is this for? And the man said that him and his wife raised cows, and every year, the very first one that they sold, they would keep the money, and they would pray about it and give it to whoever God said to give it to. And they said that this year they had kept the check longer than normal because God didn't tell them who to.
Imagine if all of us Christians practice first fruits. And imagine if we concentrated on ourselves, on each other, our racial brethren, instead of sending all our time and money away for ungrateful people overseas, while our people starve for the word and starve literally.
Give it to yet. And then I walked into church and he told them to give it to me. So I waited, of course, and I said thank you. And then whenever I got to the car, I opened up the envelope and the check was signed for $2,675, the exact amount that I needed to pay off the rest of the wedding. Won't he do it?
I mean, if the money was off, if it wasn't the exact amount, then that would be one thing. But since it was the exact amount that she needed, $2,675 in an envelope to help pay off the rest of her house, is just amazing. That's just God tapping her on the shoulder saying, I'm here. Keep the faith. If you like this kind of content, like or follow for more, and God bless you.
And God does work in mysterious ways like that. Like, I don't know if I've shared the story on here, but we lost my grandparents' house. It was sold. We were still living in it, paying rent. We sold it to neighbor business, and the business bought it along with the business building. And we were still living in it, and I had given up all hope on ever getting it back into the family. It was going to be too much that I could afford. And we sold, and it was sold for relatively cheap. And I just never thought we'd be able to get it. But that was something that my wife and I and our family prayed on tremendously. And out of the blue, the business approached us and asked if we would want to buy it. And the house was appraised for $200,000. We sold it for, when it was sold 5 years ago, it was sold for $130,000. And the business allowed us to buy it for $140,000, even though it was appraised at $200,000. God works when you put effort in. And we are by far perfect. But we are trying to grow. And I've said it here before that you don't need giant moves, people. Jesus is not, if you accept him, the next day, everything isn't going to be rainbows and butterflies. But what he does do, he starts working on your insides, and he changes a little bit at a time. And at the end of the day, if you're an inch further down the field, that day is a success. We're always trying to move forward and always trying to be better Christians, better husbands, better fathers, better brothers. We just have to keep moving. This is an endurance test we're on. And the remnant's going to be small. And the path is going to be narrow, and it's going to be lonely. But it's better than being with everybody on that wide path to destruction. Okay, now let's talk about the origin of evil. And let's listen to this clip from, I forget which movie it's from, but I play this one opposed to The Chosen because, one, I don't like The Chosen from the cult of the Mormons, and two, what it does is reinforce this programming that they are Middle Eastern Arabs. Not true.
And the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. So you must obey them and do everything they tell you. But do not do what they do. for they do not practice what they preach. They tie up heavy loads and put them on men's shoulders, but they themselves are not willing to lift a finger to move them. Everything they do is done for men to see. They make their phylacteries wide and the tassels on their garments long. They love the place of honor at banquets and the most important seats in the synagogues. They love to be greeted in the marketplaces and to have men call them rabbi. But you are not to be called rabbi, for you have only one master, and you are all brothers. And do not call anyone on earth Father, for you have one Father, and he is in heaven. Nor are you to be called teachers, for you have one teacher, the Christ. The greatest among you will be your servant. For whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and whoever humbles himself will be exalted. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You shut the kingdom of heaven in men's faces. You yourselves do not enter, nor will you let those enter who are trying to. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You travel over land and sea to win a single convert. And when he becomes one, you make him twice as much a son of hell as you are. Woe to you, blind guides! You say if anyone swears by the temple, it means nothing. But if anyone swears by the gold of the temple, he is bound by his oath. You blind fools! Which is greater, the gold or the temple that makes the gold sacred? You also say, if anyone swears by the altar, it means nothing. But if anyone swears by the gift on it, he is bound by his oath. You blind men, which is greater, the gift or the altar that makes the gift sacred? Therefore, he who swears by the altar swears by it and by everything on it. And he who swears by the temple swears by it and by the one who dwells in it. And he who swears by heaven swears by God's throne and by the one who sits on it. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You give 1/10 of your spices, mint, dill, and cumin, but you have neglected the more important matters of the law: justice, mercy, and faithfulness. You should have practiced the latter without neglecting the former. You blind guides! You strain out a gnat, but swallow a camel. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You clean the outside of the cup and dish, but inside they are full of greed and self-indulgence. Blind Pharisee! First clean the inside of the cup and dish, and then the outside also will be clean. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You're like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, But on the inside, they're full of dead men's bones.
Christianity today, right there. And the Jews as they hump their wall in Israel, the Roman fortress.
And everything unclean. In the same way, on the outside, you appear to people as righteous. But on the inside, you are full of hypocrisy and wickedness. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You build tombs for the prophets and decorate the graves of the righteous. And you say, if we had lived in the days of our forefathers, we would not have taken part with them in shedding the blood of the prophets. So you testify against yourselves that you are the descendants of those who murdered the prophets. Fill up then the measure of the sin of your forefathers. You snakes! You brood of vipers! How will you escape being condemned to hell?
And that's what they're destined for. Because they refuse to acknowledge our Father and the teachings of Jesus. And they lead others straight to hell. That's one of my favorite sections of the Bible. And right there, that Matthew 23:35. This goes right to what we're talking about today. So that upon you may fall the guilt of all the righteous blood shed on the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel to the blood of Zechariah, son of Berechiah, who murdered between the temple and the altar. He's letting you know right there. It goes all the way back to Abel. Who killed Abel? Cain, the father of these people. It goes to Genesis 3:15. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. And he shall bruise you on the head, and you shall bruise him on the heel. Seed, Zerah. Churches today spiritualize this. Churches today also teach you it was a talking snake. And there was an apple. None of those things are true. The Nakash was an enchanter, a sorcerer, the shining one. It was an entity. Who groomed and basically raped Eve. And this is why these people that are of the serpent seed, this is why pedophilia is so big for them. This is why the Jews teach in their Talmud that it's perfectly fine to rape a 3-year-old or under. And if the girl is over 3, then you must kill her because she seduced you. And why it's fine to rape 9-year-old or younger. Why would that be in your holy text? They like that because it's a copy of the original sin of Cain or the Nakash. It's like a ritual of doing it all over again, of stealing the innocence and inserting sin into the life of Eve. So when you hear aliens and you hear all, otherworldly visitors, we've already had them. They've been here. The reptilian stuff that you see. It's these people. And here's some examples. Goes back to Genesis 6. The original devils came from the Nakash himself, where in Enoch it says it was the angel Gadriel. Look at that very carefully. This is Jacob Rothschild. There's lots of people you could see. Look at Barbara Streisand. They might have her picture on here. A lot of the women hide it with their hair, just like they did in the day with their hats in some of these Egyptian photos. Because that's what these people did. They went from empire to empire and slowly slithered their way in and took over and destroyed it. That's why when you see so many similarities, when they like to bring up, oh, look at what was going on in Rome before its fall, matches what's going on here. Yes, because you're seeing peak Edomite, Canaanite, Jewish influence. Degeneracy inserted into that society. The flooding of those empires with different races. It's all organized destruction, and in their writings, they refer to it as the sick man. And just like Satan Yahoo said that we will break off America into small pieces and sell it and suck all their resources, and they will become a slave state of welfare addicts. The Jews freely admit in their own writings, the Jewish Encyclopedia, Jewish Almanac, other various materials, that it is incorrect to call a modern day Jew an Israelite. They refer to themselves as the Anunnaki. That's why they look at you as less than. Because why their lineage is passed through the woman, because that's the blood they care about. That's the Canaanite wives that Esau married. That's the bloodline they want to save. The knowledge is there. You know, our Father says it's the glory of God to conceal a matter and the glory of kings to discover it. And Jesus all through tried to let us know. This little John 8 is another great chapter. And from John 8:31, the truth will set you free. So Jesus was saying to those Jews who had believed in him, if you continue in my word, then you are truly disciples of mine, and you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. They answered him, we are Abraham's descendants and have never yet been enslaved to anyone. How is it that you say you will become free? Were the Israelites not enslaved in Egypt? Yes, they were. Edomites weren't. That's what they're saying. King Herod was an Edomite. He slaughtered the Israelite priests and installed his own. That's why he was trying to kill Jesus and why the Jews hated Jesus, because he was not one of them. It's very clear. And even going to, you know, back to Genesis, what has happened right after Eve and the Nakash? What did they do? They covered their genitals. If it was something they ate, why weren't they wearing, you know, face diapers like we were in 2020? Then God curses her with pain in childbirth because she ate something, and then he threw them out of the garden. What kind of God do you worship? And this is why God was so strict with the Canaanites, and was one of the points I brought up when I used to talk to Christians was, how can you believe in a God that wants to murder this whole group of people? Well, it's because they were literal monsters that were eating and destroying his people, sacrificing their babies. As a father, if a group came into your house and started doing that, what would you do? Exactly. And they put it right in our face. There are so many stories in movies and TV shows that entail this story. But yet they give you some garbage. Oh, there's a snake in an apple. And we're all related to Noah. Because two white people have, you know, rainbow children all the time. He just had one of each race. Yeah, no. Day 8 creation was the creation of the white man. Noah was perfect. The book of Genesis is the book of generations. Noah was perfect in his genetics. Same word used for the spotless heifer. The flood was local. He didn't have an ark full of animals from all around the world with giraffes sticking their heads out. They treat you like children. And the reason they treat you like children is because you act like children. You refuse to put on your big boy pants, and you refuse to look at scripture as a serious matter. Not some fairy tale. And the parts of the Bible that you do take seriously, you discredit the others. You can't keep one verse and then say, this verse doesn't matter, or God changed his mind, because God is the same yesterday as he was today, and he'll be the same tomorrow. Here's an example of them putting it right in the movies. Remember, Eve was beguiled?
Problem. Single celestial doesn't have enough power for such an enterprise. But two celestials, well now, that just might do.
Our bodies are his children.
Out of all my labors, the most beguiling was attempting to graft my DNA with that of another species. I hoped the result of such a coupling would be enough to power the expansion. I had Yandu deliver some of them to me. It broke the Ravager code, but I compensated him generously, and to ease his conscience, I said I'd never hurt them. And that was true. I never felt a thing. But one after the other, they failed me.
Study to show yourselves approved. Develop an intimate relationship with our Father and our Lord Jesus Christ. We're running out of time, and you don't want to be on the outside of that ark when the door is shut. Open your eyes to the danger that's going on and fight with your brethren. Let's stand together and let's make our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ proud. All right, that's going to do it for today. Join me next week with Pastor Eli James. Subscribe, give me a like and a follow. Check out my Gab, BitChute, Rumble. My Rumble page has probably 15, 20 interviews with Pastor Eli. Check those out. You'll learn a lot. And enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy your family. Enjoy the gifts that our Father has given us. Praise Jesus. Much love. Have a great day.